On today's Minute the Apes, Richard's been up since 4:30. He's got all his work done. He's got a bounce in his step, a twinkle in his eye.
I'm ready to go, 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 go.
Divine bomb.
They are the good human and the dead human.
There is fire, there is smoke.
Now, fight like it.
A minute of apes. A minute of the apes. A minute of the apes. A minute of the apes.
Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies, 1 minute at a time. I'm Todd. Bringing that wonderful tease is Sean with Gertie in his lap.
We got Gertie in a lap.
And man, I'm telling you, I haven't seen you in this good of a mood, so much so that you headbang to the opening music.
That's right.
Have you ever done that before? I mean, in your life at all? Have you ever
Headbang?
to a song?
Well, this is the first time I've actually had long hair enough to do it. Yeah.
Well, all I can say, it looks good on you.
Thank you.
Here we are. We're actually kind of
Super Bowl Sunday.
I was about to say it's Super Bowl Sunday, and we're doing something we don't usually do. We're having to record and kind of play catch up because our bank of episodes has eroded a bit as we've tried to make our schedules work. But here we are, almost just barely a week ahead of what we'll hit.
Right.
What we have in the bank will hit next week. This will hit the following week. So we're right on top of it.
Yes, and tonight we're on the lookout for a Frito-Lay commercial, right? Do we know what time the Frito-Lay commercial is airing? JJ? No. Okay.
What Richard is alluding to is, may I at least say that.
Well, this will be a week after.
So JJ
Super Bowl's
was
come
produced
out. Yeah.
a Frito-Lay commercial that you will see in the Super Bowl tonight.
Yeah.
So
Who's in the commercial? Oh,
we can't talk. This
oh.
will air 2 weeks after.
Okay.
Okay, we can't. By this time, you can go look up the Frito-Lay commercial and you can find out for yourself. But the lovely JJ was the producer of said commercial.
We cannot spoil it.
Jerome Bettis, she said. Oh,
Bettis.
Bettis.
Oh, Jerome Bettis.
Bettis. All right.
Did you work with him? Yes. And was a nice guy? I'd always heard he was a super nice guy.
Cool.
So, and that's me being the only football fan and wearing my Cowboys sweaty because they will never be in the Super Bowl again. In fact, my child looks at me all the time, and she knows how much I've grown up loving football. And she's like, yeah, I can watch all the old highlights with you, but they'll never be a good team again, will they? And I said, no, they will never win ever again, the Cowboys.
Oh.
They might, and it's the unfortunate, sad thing that Jerry Jones is going to have to die because it's all about his ego.
He wants to be a coach without being a coach.
It's one of those, and I'm not going to get too far into football talk, but you can watch all the things he has. Jimmy Johnson, who makes that last dynasty, right? Mm-hmm. And I was just watching something with Jimmy because Jimmy has a new book out, and Jimmy said it's the sad thing. He said Jerry and I are very good friends, but at the same time we're big enemies because he's like, I want to be successful, and Jerry wants my success. It was, wow, Jerry, you bought this team and helped build a dynasty, but Jimmy built the team and Jerry didn't like it, and so he gets rid of him so he can build a team. Well, look what 30 years of him building a team does.
There you go.
Fucking Cowboys.
How
By the way,
about them
do you hear
Cowboys?
my rock and roll thing? I
vocal
sang for
fry.
like 4.5 hours this week, so
Okay.
I can get down into that.
Todd's
really
trying to
easy.
sound cool.
I can. All right, so that's football talk out of the way. We don't have to hit on that again. Ooh, Sean, it's the first time I've seen your fingers all banded up.
well,
What happened to your fingers?
I sprained a ligament 2.5 weeks ago, stumbling over a dog toy and catching myself on the couch, and I just hyperextended my finger,
wow.
and I thought I broke something because I heard a snap, a crack, or a pop. I didn't know, and I thought it was my knuckle cracking, and it just hurt for 2 weeks. And I went in, they did X-rays. I didn't break anything. I sprained it. When I showed him what I did, and he felt right where it felt, he goes, "Oh yeah, I know what that is. Your X-ray says you're fine. It's just you gotta keep your fingers together." Because anytime I was spreading my fingers, or like I would pick up a towel and I would pull just my finger down a weird way. It's like,
I just find that so odd when doctors can be just press an area and
here's
they
the
simply
problem.
feel all the way through your skin and muscle and know exactly what's oh nope, that's off. That's this. That's
we know exactly what it is. When I go, I spread my fingers, spread my hand, I go, yep, that's exactly what it is. Sprained the ligament.
I had kind of but my back has been going shit again, so I'm back in physical therapy, and I've got this, and her name's Daria, if you're in Dallas, and I'm telling you, you drive that extra 30 minutes past Dallas. She is an amazing woman. She's Russian. When she talks, it's like, what were you saying? But the other day, how is your back? And I was like, my back's okay, but I kind of rolled my ankle stupidly coming down the stairs. And she did the same thing. She's like, lay down. And I'm like, oh shit, where's this going? And she literally just finds it. And I'm like, oh, and she goes, watch this. And she just starts almost pulling it. And it's like freakish how these people know, oh, how can I isolate that? And she ends up making it somewhat feel better. That's just fucked up.
I know.
I don't believe it. I think she
Nah,
sold
it's
herself
magic.
It's Russian devil stuff.
There you go. Burn her. She's a witch.
Let's remember that Russian devil stuff is the name of this episode. Okay. That is enough football sprained ligament talk. Let's talk about Apes. Sean, tell us what's going on in minute 61.
All right, we're going to start minute 61 with Ari summarizing the holy writings and ends with what appears to be a camp.
All right, here it comes. Minute 61. Tim Burton, Planet of the Apes.
Where, well, according to our holy writings, that is where creation began. Where the Almighty breathed life into Simus, the first ape. In the time before time.
Just where Simus will return.
Of course, most educated apes consider such religious notions as fairy tales. Metaphors we use to explain our origins. I doubt if there ever really was a Simos.
Well, that's where my crew is, so that's where we're going.
Doesn't he ever stop?
It has been 61. We have an Oberon's worth of apes and humans, 2 displaced pods worth of humans and apes, while humans, 8 cities, minus those 2 floating gorillas, and humans still on the loose.
Okay, so visually, we have Ari standing beside one of the scarecrow creatures looking through...
Muslin?
It may be the first time that I wanted to go hell in a stop with the whole look through the muslin thing. It doesn't really work in the scene, in my opinion.
Oh, I actually really liked
Okay,
it.
okay.
I really liked it because she uses her eye when she looks to it, and then she moves her mouth over the hole as well.
I think what doesn't work for me is what she's saying. I don't think works with the weird suggestiveness of looking through it and playfulness. But
Okay.
So visually, we get through the muslin. We do that back and forth. We find out that we are still in the wasteland. Visually, it is just back and forth between Leo and Ari. All the other explorers just behind them. And once again, we get Paul Giamatti's character is only seen in the end
little
of
buttons.
I must wrap a scene, and he walks, either the camera moves past him or moves to him. We get another one of those wah, wah kind of lines and moments as they walk off. We see a neat little wall that has, I don't know how those holes get into the rock, but it's very cool. And then
I
we
think
come.
that's natural erosion.
It,
though.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
a weird thing. Natural erosion, you'd usually see kind of like a river thing. It's almost like
It's
something.
probably, it's like it's sandstone or something where
Maybe.
it like holds some water and
and then
pours out.
we come over a crest. We see water in the distance, and we see a. I think it's enough to call it a shit ton
Yeah.
of red tents.
Yeah.
with some flame around
that's
it.
the
So
proper
You wanna
medical
start at, you wanna
term.
start at the top?
let's go back to the top. So that's where all according to the holy writings. That's where
Creation
The
creation
Almighty
began.
breathed life into Simos.
The first ape in the time before. So we're getting into the fact that this culture has a religion and a mythos that involves creation. We really have Dan touched on it before, but now she's trying to give us a little bit more information. It's also going back to the idea that they are just in this city and not a global population.
Right.
That they're still very, very localized in terms of where they are. Right.
Yeah.
They can't go past this area. There's something over there. It's the Holy Lands. So it's very, very familiar with very, very similar to the themes of the first film in terms of this area that they're not supposed to
It
go
is.
into.
The Forbidden Zone.
And it's a cool idea. It's one of those again. I wish they'd introduced it at the first of the film instead of just going. By the way, boom, here it is.
All right, so let's be honest. Simos somehow is going to be Pericles. So what I'm trying to do is trying to figure out how they get from Pericles to Simos.
I don't think they know.
Because I'm trying to do the Star Trek the motion picture where V'ger is Voyager, so you can get a little bit.
no.
I'm trying to figure out how does Pericles become Semos.
Well, no, that's you're right there. Because they're calling these two things, two unfamiliar things, Kalima and Semos.
Mm-hmm.
They're both hinting that we're supposed to try and figure out what these things are.
How they pertain to Davidson and no.
I feel like it's a little too obvious of a stunt.
Yeah.
So to me, by doing this at roughly minute 61, this would be like if you're in the Sixth Sense and we finally just kind of know that, oh, by the way, he got shot at the first in the movie. You know, he just, he's been shot and for 60 minutes. It's like all of a sudden adding this in. If you had taken this folklore of this shit and made it one of the first things you see, by this point you wouldn't be spending time going, how does this fit together? It would just be its world, and I wouldn't be. It's awful.
We're halfway through the film, and we're now beginning to get to, okay, what are the origins of this?
Right,
society?
and because of that, what does your mind do? What's the first thing you do? You want to understand, and you do what Sean's doing. Yes, it's in a minute by time, but you begin trying to solve it.
And I think the problem is that this is a remake, so we know how the original ends, that they're on Earth, and hey, they blew it up all along. But this one, and their desperation to not remake one, say we're not on Earth, definitely because we've got multiple planets in there. We don't have guns. Humans can talk. So, hey, we're not the Planet of the Apes, but we're a remake of the Planet of the Apes. So we're trying to hide our twist somehow. And so they're trying to give us a new twist that is not the old twist, because the old twist was we're on Earth all along. So we know the new twist is going to be somehow the Pericles started founded this society somehow, but how did that happen?
So your guess at this point, even though you've seen the film, your guess.
It's been so long, I don't remember.
Just based upon the minutes we've seen so far,
I remember how it actually ends, but I don't remember how the
your
story
guess
ends.
is we're not on Earth. And
Well, we know that because there's multiple planets in the sky.
Though there's multiple. That's right. Yeah. Multiple suns.
Because remember they're on a space station that's around a different. They're not on Earth. They're trying to save Earth. So this is not Earth.
Right. But somehow
Pericles founded this society
their
somehow.
society.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we still haven't found Pericles. He got lost in that flash somehow. So we've at this point haven't even talked about him for 30 minutes. 35.
And again, that needs to pervade over everything. You don't introduce the Force at minute 60 if you want a movie to be about you have a mystical force that you can go past technology and trust yourself to use. You don't introduce that halfway through the fucking film. And so I get here and I'm like, when Leo first comes in, one of the first things, and it would have benefited the entire story, is maybe we see a bit, maybe he's taken past some of those Senate hearings or the outpouring of people from the Senate, and they're saying that, and they just, well, if Semos will return. Wow, well, now you introduce that here, and it kind of doesn't feel as heavy a moment.
Yeah.
Well, they haven't even embraced the plot reveal or the script reveal that Earth is having sudden power surges, and that's one of the reasons they're in space doing this research to begin with. Like they've even talked about that. So is that going to factor into this mystery somehow?
Otherwise, no.
Otherwise, we're just trying to get Leo's trying to get back to Kansas.
Yeah.
And that's about it, right? Leo's trying to get back to Kansas, and these people might get saved or not. I don't know. I don't know why they're still following him.
Let's talk about the ape in the room.
Okay, which one?
If you want to make an original film, you want to remake a property, yet you know that you're up against how classic the first one was, and especially its twist. Easily, I don't think any of us would disagree. It is not even arguably, it is truthfully one of the most iconic twist endings that's been in film.
Yeah.
Period, without question. If you want to do something, why not go back to Pierre Boulle's original novel?
Yeah, and make it a human society filled with apes.
Right. That would feel so original. With technology today, doing that, pulling it off would not have been hard for them.
Or even back then, 23 years ago.
It wouldn't have been hard to do that. I still don't completely understand why they went away from it, except that they had a good concept in the original. Let's take it back to almost primitive times and do that
they
twist.
did it in the fourth movie. They just didn't do a full society. They only just had two people living in modern society. So they could have done a whole movie.
Conquest.
Oh, okay.
They could have done a whole movie where everybody's dressed up in suits, ties, dresses, and everything,
Yeah.
and you have the wild
Yeah.
humans.
That
I
to
mean-
me would have been a better concept for this film.
And you think about the fact that we were doing Star Trek had multiple shows on television around this particular era. They could still do a television budget and make it look professional without having to do a big movie budget and have all these
Yeah.
sets and designs and so on.
Well,
All right, so she says she then kind of knocks the idea of religion. We're saying we're smart apes.
Smart apes don't buy this crap.
Yeah, exactly.
The line, of course, most educated apes consider such religious. What is that? Is it potions? Is fairy
Notions.
tales?
Notions is fairy tales
I look at
metaphors.
that. I look at that and it was like potions or
We
notions.
used to explain our origins. I doubt there really was a Simos. Dana was supposed to have a moment where she goes, "His friends aren't fairy tales; they're real." Okay.
I
Well, I don't even know why that would have to do with his friends, but whatever.
So I think that whole idea that educated people find religion to be a fairy tale. I think at least introducing that is an interesting thing that they could have. Nope.
But we don't.
Verity, come
We
on.
don't even have any scientists at this particular point. Like, there's no. There's no. We've established the idea that they do have some type of religion, but we don't really see it as an overt thing. We haven't really gotten to a science or educated class
Right.
at all. All we've seen is the military and some governmental officials so far. in this
We had a
society.
little bow your head. That
We don't, I
was-
mean, I don't know what Ari does. Was Ari like an art dealer? Like, what does she do?
That's not really been defined. She's just our
She's
voice
a
of.
senator's daughter.
She's our voice of this is a wacky place to be.
Yeah.
And so back to the idea about the religion. I think introducing that could have been potentially this film's, exact moment in the sand where it's like, this is what we're about. Is this idea of where does religion come from? That would have been a pretty decent little argument to have for a film.
Well, then that would have been a focus and a direction for them to kind of come through.
Right,
Yeah,
and
for
then
sure.
you can twist that some, but they just it feels like they just shove it in to have it here. Can I ask about Leo with this stupid tricorder
All of a
thing?
sudden, that goes off at the right time.
It is the most convenient
The
thing.
MacGuffin.
And what he has to do is open and close it all the time. I'm like, that. I'm sorry, in this age of cell phones, and I know we're ahead of where they were at this time.
Yeah.
Boy, does that seem incredibly antiquated for technology.
Because I was gonna say, you know which direction you're going. You I'm assuming it's gonna tell you have 36 miles to go. So you're gonna walk 100 feet. You're not gonna look at it again and go, oh wait, I still have 36 miles. It's still the same direction you're gonna go.
Oh, I'm not gonna knock his technology with a little device that opens up and beeps, and he can clearly read it, because we were just watching some Andor last night, reminding ourselves that they're living in like stone huts, but they've got this crazy technology that allows them to do all these
Holograms
things.
and everything.
Holograms, and they can talk to people across space, and they've got these ships that they can
but they
fly
make Star
in.
Wars cool, Richard.
But their little monitors come up and they have symbols on it that you can't really read, that don't have normal like computer text, that don't even have normal keyboards,
And
and they can understand their droids, even though the droids are making
Never
just
speak
boops and
English.
beeps.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can let go of Leo's
Okay,
device.
that's fair.
And I just now started thinking about it. In real life, we very rarely with technology, unless it's for a very specific use, like one-use device things. Our telephone is not just a telephone; it's a camera,
That is
it's
true.
internet, it's everything else. It's a calculator, it's an editing
an
studio,
everything.
It's everything. So to have I mean, I can understand if it was a compass,
Yeah.
because that does one thing; it finds a magnetic. So this is his compass, but in real life you'd want a compass, because my phone has a compass built into it if I really need that. You'd want a device that also talks to things and everything else. You don't want just a one-use electronic
Now, to be
device.
fair, we've not seen that it doesn't.
Yes,
Maybe
that's
at
true.
some point it could be an ape translator.
Yeah.
I want to go back to Andor real quick. When you talked about the technology, did anyone notice that one of the things that they have that collapses is an old Polaroid camera?
Yes, uh-huh.
I was like, it's like this old Polaroid camera where you shoved it like that and it became
it like
camera.
unfolds,
And they just-
accordions out. Yeah.
yeah, and
When
they
did they use it in one of the episodes?
Yeah.
oh yes, and they just put shit on it, and I was like,
Yay, old camera. Yeah.
It's almost like when you go back to episode 1 when
And you got the Schick razor.
yeah, the lady's shaver is
That he's
what they
talking
use as a
into.
communicator.
Well, I mean,
I love when people do that.
Well, I mean, you have to. Surely we could
When you
walk.
kit
we
bash,
could go
yeah.
to. We could, if the
You can.
Stories of the Star Wars Minute guys have started looking at all the small little props and figured out
Yeah.
that they're all like
Empire Strikes
this-
Back with the ice cream maker.
Yes.
Exactly. These are all home devices that they've just repainted.
Put
and
crap
put
on
some
But I
it.
dots
love
on
that.
it.
I love how that. I was just talking to one of the things I got my 3D printer for Christmas. One of the things I wanted to do was print a stormtrooper rifle. I've always wanted that prop, and I told
Todd wants a space Nazi gun.
I do. But I told him, I said, one thing I'm fascinated with is how they took it is literally a weapon used by the Nazis, and they just put shit all over it and made it look space age. Now, he did that purposely. He wanted to evoke that period, but take it.
But that, I mean,
when you look at it, it is literally like they put a battery pack on it to make it look like.
Yeah, but if I had to make a prop for a show
I
that I was
agree.
doing, I'd do the same thing. What do I got? Well, I got a coaster and an ice cube tray. What can I make out of this?
I'm not bashing it. I love that. I love you've got movies like Batman where they're going to make a Batarang totally unique out of nothing, but then you got things like this where they take it and cobble it together.
Or
I love
you
that.
know,
And then you've got this completely made up thing, and
Yes.
Planet of the Apes it doesn't resemble anything that we use.
or you get stuff like Babylon 5 where they reuse outfits from 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's just like sometimes you just grab what's on the shelf because it's already made for you too.
Well, Bosk's uniform
Oh, yeah.
was what, from Doctor Who or something
yeah.
like that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Or,
Okay,
no,
so
not Boss. I think it was some of the aliens in the cantina scene.
We're not
But
even-
yes.
I think Bosk's
We're
was
not
used to.
We're not
Okay,
even talking about this anymore.
Okay,
Doesn't he
so
ever stop?
I doubt if there ever really was a Seamus. Really? Just completely doubt. Because I am not a religious person, but I believe that there might have been somebody with some derivative-like name of Jesus that led people.
You are correct. It is Boss.
I could, thank you. I know my Star Wars. Thank you. I could see that. I don't doubt it. I doubt the religious specter around it, but I find that such a weird comment for somebody that's so intelligent that she just completely doubts
Says
that ever
it
happened.
never seen us. Yeah. I mean, obviously there has to be, because where did the smart apes come from? This is an alien planet. We're chasing an ape. They were being trained to do something. But the thing is, Pericles came here by himself, so where would he have had other apes to make a society come from? That's not here nor there. All right.
Her dancing into their religious background, her saying she doesn't believe it, and calling them fairy tales, doesn't really. She's not following that her own line of thinking with the fact that she's got Leo here with technology she's never seen before. Like that in and of itself.
True.
She talked about it questions earlier, but
With sorcery. Come on.
But that's what I mean. Like there's some magic to what Leo is doing and has that they're not really excited about while she's knocking her religion at the exact same
Wouldn't
time.
a better argument for her that she could stay true to that with your line of thinking here is that if she juxtapose those two things together, I really doubted it, but then I see what you have in your hands, and maybe I don't know everything I think I know. That might work,
Right. It's just something a little bit more about the fact that she can kind of connect those.
Yeah,
but
but
again, she's not from a science guild or anything like that. She's just we don't need.
Yeah, but she's also obviously supposed to be the most intelligent ape that we have at our storytelling convenience.
As we're about to see in the minutes later on this week. There's something odd about Limbo trying to be the comedy. I don't know why this movie
Doesn't
needs.
he ever stop? I mean,
I don't know why
what?
I don't know why this movie even needs any comedic moments. But
It has that Hollywood feel. Like if we're going to have tension, we're going to have heavy talk, especially when it gets to religion, we have to have a punchline at the end of it so that people laugh. And it's almost like they forget what's been tossed to them.
well, I mean, and Limbo, his character is a slaver, and so
Yeah.
he's now the comic relief. It's just kind of unusual.
It is very unusual.
But he's the only one. He's the one with the chops to pull it off. I mean,
Well, the dude, he and Helena, by far the best acting that goes on. Now I think that her silverback gorilla buddy, I don't know. I know
We don't have a name for him yet.
I know that actor.
Kroll.
Yeah.
I
No,
think-
he was in Babylon 5. He's
Was
an
he?
Asian gentleman.
He is, and
Yeah.
he's an amazing actor too. But Paul Giamatti and Helen are killing it. So then after we get that little exchange, and Leah says, "Yeah, well, that's where my crew's coming. That's where we're going." Why does everybody feel like that's great? Leo, head on yourself. I'm going to go this way. Why do they feel like they?
Have to keep following him.
I don't get it.
What are they expecting? He needed to have promised them something. They need
Yeah.
to be on their own journey to get someplace safe, and
Agreed.
he needed to give them something to make them continue to follow him. Otherwise, they have no rations, they have no food. They're just walking away from the city, from all comforts.
The only
They're not
weapon
going
they
to-
have is a spear. The apes are stronger than the humans, so really, if Limbo takes off his cuffs, he could really wreck house if he wanted to. But
They're not going to a human tribe. Like, I
Right.
really don't. I really understand. And we knew he was walking towards his people.
Right.
We're just getting the kind of re-emphasis that we're going into dangerous territory. by my device saying I have to go into that dangerous territory. But there's no reason for them to be following him. None. I am hyper aware, by the way, now that you pointed it out last week, when Helen and everybody else is talking, they're great. The minute we go to Marky Mark,
Yeah.
every single time they cut to a scene whether he's not talking or talking, he's just like
That's his way of acting.
having an asthma attack. It's bizarre.
I need to go back when this is all over and watch Boogie Nights and see
Nah.
if
If he's a
somehow
heavy
watching
breather.
this ruins that, and if he's a heavy breather in that.
Maybe
too.
like right before every time they cut to him, he was doing like 10
It
push-ups.
just,
and then he's like,
he was trying to get buff for each time he's on screen.
you know-
He's doing push-ups and jumping jacks off when the
he's doing
camera's not on
burpees
him.
every time the camera's not on him.
I'm sorry.
I wouldn't be surprised by that. You hear about those actors that need to be ripped, and Hugh Jackman's the one. He's like, it's the biggest bullshit thing in the world. Those moments when you see everything. I'm overdoing things with the strength and conditioning coach to get muscles flared
To
and
show the
engaged.
vascularity when
Yeah.
you're on
He's
screen. Yeah, for
dehydrating.
sure.
Yeah, and
himself
he's like,
for
we're
like 2
doing. He's like,
days.
and so maybe Marky Mark thinks that he's doing one of those kind of scenes right now, and so everyone is just fucking exhausted. And also, you now put something in my head with Limbo.
Yeah.
So he's wearing cuffs, and they have one spear. And that is their only fucking run.
Yeah.
Go run back to him and go. They captured me. Look, they did that, and you're free.
You can leave. Yeah,
No one's.
you're done.
They're not going to waste the
They're not
spear
gonna
on your
chase-
ass.
And they're not going to chase you down.
Okay, this goes back to why did they destroy Leo's gun? If Leo has a gun, he's like, why are we following you? Because I'll fucking blow your head off. You
Also,
know?
when
that
he
would
gets-
be something.
Also, when he gets to this camp, he has an advantage because he can shoot people as soon as they start showing up. You know
what other advantage he has?
what?
He has the high ground.
Hey, I have the high ground, Anakin.
That's right. I'm sorry. It all comes back to the Star Wars reference. All right. So there we are. We leave it with our intrepid group overlooking a valley with water in it and a buttload.
I think I caught it kind of about more than 20.
I want
like
to
27
talk
tents.
about that when we get to the next minute. I mean, I feel like there's some weight to talking about what. Never mind.
Yeah, that's great. Let's tease that. Let's do that. Let's wrap the day, and we'll be back tomorrow. And we're just going to lead the discussion about apes gathered around a river. Until then, everyone have a great day.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Coming